Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. UFC 328 co-main event concluded last night, and Tatsuro Taira taking on JoshuaVan in the co-main event was a absolute banger of a fight, guys. This could have been the fight of the year so far for 2026 in the Paramount era. JoshuaVan was absolutely letting his hands go in this fight. And Tatsuro Taira from Okinawa, Japan, he was absolutely a monster. This guy showed the heart of a lion. All right, so first round, we had Tatsuro and JoshuaVan exchange early, and Tatsuro immediately took him down with a double leg. Got him up against the fence. JoshuaVan was able to get back up to his feet. Then, slightly after that, a few exchanges, Tatsuro was able to get JoshuaVan back down to the ground, took his back, got the body triangle, where he then controlled Van for the rest of the round, and he attempted submissions and got into full mount and other things like that. We move on to the second round. Had Tatsuro Taira easily win in the first round, 10-9, guys. Going on to the second round, we had JoshuaVan start to really get it going, guys. This guy was able to defend against the wrestling, and once he was able to defend against the wrestling, he landed some vicious strikes, guys. In this round, JoshuaVan was able to defend the takedowns, get Tatsuro Taira with the jab, and really start to open up with the jab because Tatsuro wasn't moving the head. He was keeping his head on center line. He was backing straight up, and every time they would get into the clinch, JoshuaVan would land vicious elbows, and he really started to set himself apart. And he landed a huge overhand right towards the end of the round, and Taira was saved by the bell. We move on to the third round, and Tatsuro Taira is just getting battered. Guys, he's walking into these punches. He's not able to have as much success with the takedown as he did before. And JoshuaVan's starting to open up with the strikes, the crisp boxing, the combinations, going to the body with fluidity. Guys, this was one heck of a fight. So we had it round 1, Tatsuro Taira, rounds 2 and 3, JoshuaVan. And then we go into the fourth round. Tatsuro Taira's bloodied up, and he gets a takedown, guys. And in this round, this is the round where Tatsuro Taira almost finishes JoshuaVan. He catches him in one of the transitions in a beautiful triangle choke from bottom. And he keeps JoshuaVan in this position for, it seems like, 2 to 3 minutes. And guys, JoshuaVan's able to get out and land some vicious strikes. And he almost finishes Tatsuro Taira towards the end of that round. We go on to the fifth round. It's tied 2-2 in the judges' scorecards going into this round. So this is the swing round right here. Fifth and final round, guys. And you can tell by this point JoshuaVan's clearly still going, and Tatsuro Taira's on the decline. He's took so much damage, guys. He's almost been finished twice. Even though Tatsuro was able to get 8 takedowns on JoshuaVan, it still wasn't enough. And in that final round, guys, he kept shooting for takedowns and ultimately getting sprawled out of it. And in the sprawl, Tatsuro would try to attempt to regain takedowns again. And in the attempt to try to get back to position he once had, he would eat big, massive shots. And then you see JoshuaVan really go to the body. Backs him up against the cage, goes to the body. I think it was a left hook to the body. It hurt Taira. He starts to spin out, and then JoshuaVan swarms him with a flurry of punches, and the referee Vitor has to step in and call the fight off. And the first Asian Flyweight Championship bout comes to an end, and the man from Myanmar retains his belt. And guys, this is one of the most amazing fights. If you haven't seen striking at the highest level, ground game at the highest level, this fight checks all the boxes. Tatsuro Taira is a future superstar in this league, going to be a champion one day. JoshuaVan is just absolutely explosive as it gets up top. I love the way he puts his combinations together. He's not content just throwing one strike at a time like Volkov does, sit on the outside. This guy likes to get in the pocket, and he gets nasty with his strikes. And Tatsuro Taira is a really good striking. We've seen him beat Brandon Moreno, and but this is guys just got that next level above striking, and it really reflected in this fight. You had Alexandre Pantoja sitting, octagon side, watching everything go down, and he got to see, is JoshuaVan for real? Well, I think there's no more doubting. Is this guy supposed to be champion? I think he's done put an exclamation point on that. He TKOs him, and there's multiple times in that fight. That huge right hand he hit him with in, I think it was one of the earlier rounds. It might have been the third round. He caught him with the uppercut the second time he knocked him down, Taira, and followed him to the ground with vicious ground and pound. JoshuaVan is legit. He reminds me of Justin Gaethje with his ability to use offensive wrestling and kind of not really wrestle you, but protect himself on the wrestling and just use like headlocks and just beat you up from guard, kind of like the old OGs, the way they used to fight, instead of this laying around like some of these Dagestanis, and that's the way they want to do is a little bit of cuddling. Guys, we want to see guys really separate space on the ground and throw nasty combinations up top when they're getting up there, like Ilia Topuria, JoshuaVan. These are the kind of strikers the UFC's been craving, and we're just licking our lips at this prospect. And there is no doubt that everybody knows that JoshuaVan belongs. And Tatsuro Taira, I'm not so sure if these wasn't the best two fighters here. I know Alexander Pantoja broke his elbow, but my goodness, Tatsuro Taira was really good on the ground, and he had JoshuaVan in the mount multiple times, still didn't finish him. So that just lets you know JoshuaVan's getting better at an astronomical fast rate. 6 years of MMA, and he's already doing this stuff.